Hi, my name is Rio, and I'm recording videos for you, my gay brothers, for those of you that are interested in changing dynamics in your life, who are interested in changing potentially compulsive behavior, for those who know that there is something greater that they're not doing or able to access in your life, and how some of the ways that we have been conditioned as homos to believe, think, feel, and act have gotten in the way of us being our most exalted, purpose-filled, gift-giving individuals. I will talk today about how shame, sexual compulsion, and objectification seem to blend together. So we know that it's very, very, very common for us homos to be inundated with images of each other's bodies, of male body parts, and pretty much all of the marketing for gay men over the last few decades has included an ass, a Speedo, a crotch, something enticing, some nice big tits, something enticing that activates and stimulates the sexual part of our nature. So much so that we don't think twice about it. And for many gay men, they might think, yeah, duh, that's the great thing about being a gay man. I won't disagree that I love the male body. I love my body. I am not a Puritan in any way. However, for those of us who feel like it's distracted us and actually kept us in loops and patterns, my dog was taking a very loud drink of water from his bowl. Maybe one day I'll introduce you to him. But for those of us who have recognized that we've been distracted and almost hijacked, our brains have been so sexualized that it leads to sexual compulsive behavior, whether that's masturbating or hooking up or watching porn or all of the above, that it's almost that thing drives us more than anything else in our lives. So for those of us who have had that experience, it is important to witness how we have been conditioned and then to start deconditioning ourselves. And let me now include how shame is involved in this, right? Because shame also tells us that we are not good enough. So we might perceive a body out there as being an ideal body. And so we might then decide that we need to idealize and objectify ourselves. So then we do things that like over-exercising, dieting, whatever it might be, to try and create this perfect body that we think then will make us worthy, valid, and enough. And so this sexual compulsion, shame, and hyper-sexualization, objectification of ourselves as beings, I find to be something that's very common and also a big stumbling block. It actually really stops us from often having the relationships that we want, romantic or otherwise. It keeps us from seeing each other as humans, right? That we can just see that guy as all the sum of his body parts. Hot or not, I know you understand what I'm talking about, out at a bar, on the street, whatever. And so we actually don't see each other as human beings. And it's so common that we might not even think about it. I know that that was the case for me. And it was something that made me feel like I was living a double life, because there is this beautiful, kind, empathetic, compassionate, loving side of myself who loves everybody. And then there was the side of me that was judging everybody by how they looked. And do I want to fuck him or not? And that was the first tier of whether that person was going to be someone I would talk to. And it actually started to make me feel really disgusting inside. So over the years, I have gone through a process, and I'm sure there's more to be done, of desexualizing my brain, of working through the shame so that when I look at my own body, I love it as it is. I care for it. I want it to be healthy. And I'm not using myself as an object, right? I'm not using my body anymore as the object of, okay, this is how I get attention. This is my worth. This is my value. If that guy or any guy thinks that I'm hot, then I'm automatically worthy. Well, that left me feeling numb. That left me feeling like no one ever saw me, right? So I did craft a body that a lot of men would look at and say, yeah, that fits this ideal that we have. And then what, right? They want to fuck me, and maybe we do. And then I feel like, they don't know who I am because I'm not allowing people to know who I am. I'm putting on this mask and I'm using my body as currency, and then I feel lost and lonely and empty. So the process of not making myself an object for others or for myself, and starting to de-objectify, desexualize the men that I was looking at so I could see them as human. It's a process. It's a process that I will probably talk about in more detail later, but I will give you a couple of ways to start that. First, look at let's start with Instagram. Let's look at anywhere that you see hot guys online. Notice the accounts that you're following. Notice what gets sent to you as suggestions of posts. And maybe, if you choose to, start unfollowing some of those guys, or hide them if you don't want to start unfollowing yet. Hide the images that keep you looking at men as objects. When you see a man on the street, there will probably be that impulse to look at his ass, to look at his crotch, to look at his chest, to decide if his face is hot enough for you. You might go through all those and then go, whew, okay, and he's a human. I wonder what he's like. I wonder what his personality is like. Who is this person? Just start to switch and see them as a human, not something that you want to take or conquer or go use as a fantasy in your mind later. Humanize these men. If you have sexually compulsive activities, such as compulsive porn watching when you don't want to, compulsive masturbation that you feel empty from and not enlivened by, compulsive hookups or seeking for hookups, see if you can take a pause, not out of an act of shaming yourself, but see if you can, let's say, if one day feels like a long time, see what happens in one day. If you don't do those actions, and notice when you feel inspired, when you feel that compulsion to go towards one of those actions, notice what's happening inside. That would be a time to pause. Okay, I'm about to open the apps. What can I do? Okay, instead, no app, close my eyes, go in. What am I feeling right now? Besides this compulsion, what's underneath that? What emotions are here? What sensations am I feeling in my body? What was just happening a few minutes before? Or what has been happening in the day leading up to this moment that all of a sudden I feel this compulsion to go act, to go seek, or to go release? And then sit with that. Okay, what in the day that's been leading up to this moment, or what in these last moments that's been leading up to this, what's that telling me? I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling stressed. Okay, what can I do instead in this moment? Maybe it's take a walk. Maybe it's take a nap. Maybe it's journal. Maybe it's drink some water. Maybe it's stretch. Maybe it's go scream into the pillow. What can you do with that energy instead of externalizing it and going into compulsive behaviors? Try it for a period of time and start to notice. I would imagine that for many of us, and certainly it happened for me, there was a lot of agitation. There was a lot of frustration, and those neural pathways that were used to going into a compulsive behavior or used to objectifying or turning myself into an object, those very well-worn pathways, they became really hard to move out of. And so that's what I noticed at first. This is really difficult. And that is great to recognize, because at that moment you can realize, whoa, I don't have as much control as I thought I did. And if it's easy, then maybe find a bigger challenge for yourself. Maybe stop hooking up. Maybe stop altogether these actions and just see what comes up. Really intense emotions are usually right under the surface, and it's something that we hide from. Usually there's some sort of shame-driven emotions, thoughts, or beliefs that are right there. And so we can work with those once we know that they're there. So I'll end here because I could talk on this forever. And this is like a step one. And I will, in future videos, give a little bit more information on then what do we do with these emotions? What do we do with the things that we've been covering up with compulsive behaviors? I hope this is helpful. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon.